Notice of default letter is a warning from a creditor that you have missed payments on your credit agreement. Typically, a creditor will send this notice when you've not been making payments for 3 to 6 months. They will ask for full payment and give you at least 2 weeks to catch up. If you don't pay, the account will default and you may be chased by a collection agency or even taken to court. Keep in mind that default notices can only be sent on credit covered by the Consumer Credit Act, such as credit cards, personal loans, and mobile phone contracts. It's important to understand what your credit file is. Everyone in the UK has a credit history and rating that provides their financial history for the last 6 years. This information makes up your credit score and is accessible to any lender or creditor you apply to for new credit. Based on your score, lenders can accept or reject your application. Your credit report will include your name, your address, loans like mortgages or payday loans, missed payments, court actions like CCJs, and whether you have ever been insolvent. You can look up your credit file on a credit reference agency website that is authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority, such as Experian. Usually these websites offer a free trial where you can consult your credit report and then you have to pay thereafterwards. It's useful if you just want to check what's on your credit file for free, then cancel the service so that you never have to pay. Is a default reported on your credit report? The default notice is just a letter and it is not reported on your credit file. However, the missed payments will have been recorded, and if the account does default, this will be visible on your credit report. The company will file a default on your credit file. A default on a credit report shows other lenders or banks that you miss payments and could make it harder to secure a bank account, a loan, or a credit card. Can you ask a company to remove a default? Yes. You can ask creditors to remove a default in some cases, such as if there was an admin error that caused a mistaken identity, or if you contest the default. If there is no way to get your default removed and your debt problems are piling up, you can still find a way out of debt through one of the many debt solutions available here in the UK. You can contact Citizens Advice or debt charities like Step Change for more information and assistance. So when can a default be removed from your credit file? There are two main ways. The first way is if there's been an error. If you see a defaulted debt or missed payment on your credit file that you are sure is a mistake or you want to contest, first bring the matter up with the lender that placed it there, not the credit reference agencies. For example, if it's a missed mobile phone contract bill, then you should bring it up with your mobile network provider first. Reasons to argue a case include the lender not trying to collect the payments, mistaken identity, admin errors, being in arrears by fewer than 3 months, duplicate defaults, or if the debt was statute barred. If the lender does not agree to remove the default, you can then ask the credit reference agencies to do it for you, but you'll likely need to provide evidence of the mistake. The second way that a default can be removed from your credit file is if sufficient time has passed. Defaults will stay on your credit file for 6 years from the date that they were added. Once these 6 years have passed, the default will be automatically deleted. If you catch up with your monthly payments, the default still won't be removed until the 6 years have elapsed. But if the default was added later than it should have been, you can ask for it to be adjusted so that it falls off your credit report at an earlier date. In situations where the creditor has gone bust and they no longer respond to your requests or the credit reference agency's website request, you can then ask the credit reference agencies to suppress the default. This technically doesn't delete any related defaults from your credit file, but it does hide them when lenders complete a credit check, improving your chances of securing a loan or other credit. They will no longer see that you've defaulted or owe money that remains unpaid. So what happens to your credit score when a default is removed? When a default is registered on your credit report, it reduces your score. Once a default is removed, no matter why it was removed, your score will increase. However, having a default removed is not the only thing to consider to improve your credit score. You can build it up in other ways as well. It's worth keeping in mind that the negative impact of having a default will diminish as time goes on. Lenders will put less scrutiny on a default on a credit report from 5 years ago than they will one that was just added. Of course, it's always far better to deal with your finances before things escalate to a default. If you're struggling with debt, then there are options available here in the UK. Some are free to use and others include fees, and each will have their own pros and cons. If you want to learn more about the solutions available, then we've created a really great form that you might be interested in checking out. Click the link in the description to get started and answer a few multiple choice questions like the total amount of your debt, how many people you owe, your living situation, and we'll connect you with one of our trusted partners so you can find out more and take steps towards improving your financial situation.